Murderer. You okay? You look terrible. Well, Yangwang isn't much further and we can rest when we get there. What's that? Help! The man was running toward us from the direction of the town. He seemed to be terrified. He's gonna kill me. I don't want to die. A dark figure appeared behind the man, moving with preternatural speed. In the blink of an eye, the figure mercilessly struck down the defenseless man. Yarg! The dark figure noticed us. Waves of fury and bloodlust sent a sickening chill down my spine. Without hesitation, I readied my weapon. Oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. And that's when I realized it was Haoran. Something was very wrong. His eyes glowed like embers, and his face was twisted into a menacing snarl. Blood covered his tattered clothes, barely concealing bulging muscles, which were more like those of a monster than a well-trained fighter. There was no trace of Haoran's calm demeanor and ready smile, but it was without a doubt him. Grrr, you. His voice was a bestial growl. A mad grin broke across his face as he licked blood from his weapon. He stared at me for a long moment, then turned and ran toward Yangwan. It's one of the mad townsfolk, huh? Vicious. The man Haoran murdered lay still before me. I couldn't believe what I had just seen. What's wrong? Still in shock, I explained everything to Mitsurugi. I see. As a friend, you wish to help him, right? That may not be possible. I fought many a warrior in my time, so I can tell. He gloried in that kill. If he's that far gone, I doubt we'll be able to reason with him. He might be beyond our help. What had happened to Haoran? I thought back to what Zasalamel had told me. Many Malfested lose all sense of reason, become violent, and attack people. Astral fissures exude a massive amount of force that will either destroy anyone weak who dares approach it, or turn them into a Malfested. It was likely that Haoran had been transformed into a Malfested by the astral fissure in Yanlan. ... While I stood there, lost in thought, a young man appeared and approached us. Excuse me, do you know my brother by any chance? He must have been talking about Haoran. Looking closer, I saw that the young man had the look of a martial artist to him. My name is Haoyu, that murderer Haoran. He's my brother. Haoyu knelt down next to the corpse of the man from town. He's become something terrible. After a silent prayer, Haoyu stood up. Yangwang is fraught with danger. Come with me. I tried, but I could not stop Haoran. So I have a favor I need to ask of you. Judging by his stride, Haoyu was injured. Nevertheless, he appeared filled with determination. Please forgive me for interrupting your journey. I asked him what happened to Haoran. After my brother returned from his journey, how can I explain it? It all began when he volunteered to inspect an unusual rift that had appeared. Apparently he'd seen something similar on his travels. That was where everything started to go wrong. With each passing day, my brother began acting stranger and stranger. He started to speak crudely and grew needlessly violent. Then one day he just left. We trained together all the time, but I was too scared to do anything at first. After that, well, you saw it for yourself. He became a monster. Soon many others became like Haoran and began slaughtering each other. However, none could match my brother's martial prowess. I never thought I'd see his training used for such evil. For a while we all fell silent. Then Haoyu looked at me, his eyes filled with determination. I practically worshipped my brother. He was always so noble, kind, and strong. He would help anyone who needed it without hesitation. That's why I wish to stop him now. I beg you, kill him, end his suffering. Haoyu's injury was no doubt affecting his ability to fight, but his will remained strong. Ask if Haoran can be saved. I searched for another way, be it through medicine, magic, anything, but every road led to failure, and nothing I could do helped. None in Yangwang suffered the same fate as my brother could be brought back either. Haoyu's expression was filled with pain, but his grim acceptance of the situation only served to emphasize the strength of his resolve. There may still be a way. In Ling Shengsu, where my brother and I studied, people spoke of a legendary old man who may know how to resist this evil. But the stories about him were always vague. Besides, it would take many a day simply to reach the temple. None of this is easy for me. However, if nothing is done, Yanglong will become a ghost town, and my brother's sins are already too many. If he were in my position, he'd do the same thing. Haoyu's voice trembled slightly when he spoke. Thank you for agreeing to help. It must be fate for an acquaintance of my brother to show up during these dark times. For eyes so young, they seemed filled with exceptional resolve. I knew that I too would have to prepare myself for what lay ahead. Haoyu had made up his mind. Now it was my turn. Haoran had fallen victim to malfestation, and I had to decide what to do. Haoyu led us into the forest where he said we would find Haoran. Here, this is where my brother and I used to train. The forest was eerily quiet. However, I could feel unfriendly eyes following our every move. Grr, you came. Haoran stepped out of the shadows. Draw your weapon. I thirst for blood. Haoran breathed erratically like a possessed beast, and his eyes were filled with an insatiable bloodlust. He was ready to attack at any moment. Haoran, stop all of this already, please. Haoyu, give it up. You cannot stop me. I was both shocked and sad to see what Haoran had become. I asked him how a warrior like him could lose control like this, and he froze. I may have looked like a decent human being, but I always knew that was not so. A dark shadow dwelled in my heart. I wanted to become like this, to crave the sight of blood, to know the ecstasy of tearing into flesh. These were the ravings of a madman. I trained my body and mind to keep the darkness within from escaping. But the stronger I became, the stronger the conflict in me grew. Why did I seek strength? Why? Why? I knew why. Haoran. Haoran readied his weapon and let out a terrifying howl. Do you think yourself a true warrior? Then prove it. Show me the darkness that lurks inside you. Haoran lay on the floor defeated. My head throbbed and the world spun. I wasn't sure if it was because of the adrenaline or the influence of the astral chaos. I decided what to do about Haoran. Well, we've proven that there's no cure for the manifestation. So put him out of his misery. Haoran. Haoyu. So it was you who brought her here. No, don't say anything. Haoran gathered his strength for one last message. You did the right thing. I accept this fate. My suffering can finally end. Haoran let out one final breath and then was still. Though he had last found peace, his face was frozen in an expression of sadness. Haoran. Tears streamed down Haoyu's face, and the sound of his weeping echoed throughout the trees. In accordance with Haoyu's wishes, we buried Haoran peacefully in the forest. Rhea, you did what I couldn't do. Thank you. I thought I knew everything there was to know about my brother, but I knew nothing of the darkness in his heart. When I recover, I shall resume my training to fill the void my brother has left. Please come to see me again. I promise you that one day I'll become the man my brother strived to be.
Your soul resonates with the darkness.
Aww. Now I'm evil.